We've been having problems with these BMW emblems kind of falling off. You can see the whole paint here just fell right off. So we have new ones, and in this video I'm going to show you how to replace these, take these off, and put the new ones on. You can see the one on the front is really bad. It's just flaking, all the paint's flaking off. And if you look at the mechanism of how this actually works, there's two tabs, one here, and then there's little rubber grommets on the inside here. What I'm going to try to do is take a zip tie, put it through here, and then pull it out. Take the zip tie and thread it through the middle. Now I have this coming all the way through here. In order for it to come all the way through, what I had to do was take a second zip tie once I put this on and start to kind of pry up this end so it would slide all the way through. But now you can see we kind of have handles to pull this out. Get a little bit more strength, more plastic in there. I'm going to run the second one through as well. Now I'm just going to pull up and try to pull that logo off. The logo is moving, like it's flexing, but it's not coming out at all. It's just returning back to its original position. I'm going to try leaving these two down here and then just pulling up here at the top. Hey, I think that worked. There it is. Finally. I'll take this time to clean underneath the logo because this is going to be the easiest time, especially to get in this little crevice here. They're like a stiff rubber and they really grab onto these little pins super well. Open up the new one. And we'll put this in place. We'll line up those pins and then press this in place. Whenever we push this in place, it still rocks back and forth. So I think what's really happening is these pins are having a hard time sliding all the way in since it's such a stiff rubber. We're going to put some silicone grease on these pins and hopefully that'll help it slide in smoother. This grease is silicone based, so it won't hurt plastic or rubber parts. Now we'll put this in place. The pins on the new emblem are actually a little bit longer than the old one, so I'm just going to shave a little bit. Sand a little bit off the ends here. I'm just going to do it by hand because it only needs a little bit. With those pins shortened, I'll put this in place. We think that the top of the face of it needs to be ground down a little bit because it's hitting the top of the emblem when it sits on, and that's what's making it rattle back and forth. So we're going to take these little grommets out and grind off just the face. You can actually see the rubber sticking out on the bottom of the hood, but really what I found is working is just taking it with like a piece of tape on the screwdriver so you don't damage the paint and then working it out. These things are definitely stiffer. I would imagine out of the factory they would be a little bit more flexible. I'll put a little bit of silicone grease on them and a little bit right there. Now we'll go ahead and push these in place. Just a little tap with a dead blow, carefully, and they go right in. Now we'll slide this in place. It's definitely a lot less. I can barely feel it. If we just tap that in place, get it seated, it fits in there nicely. There's a little peeling we want to take off. Once we're done, that looks really nice. Now that we have the hang of this, we're gonna go ahead and replace this one. This one's definitely tight. They're not easy to get in there. Once you get this in there, sometimes you can slide it around and start to loosen some things up. With several layers of tape, which will protect it from hurting the paint, we're gonna kind of pry it off. Even with the tape on here, you have to be really careful whenever you're prying up. You don't want to accidentally dent the paint. Put 3 layers onto here so it's cushioned, and then we're going to carefully pry up. Right now I don't see any damage along the ring, and we want to keep it that way. This emblem is almost feeling like it's held on with glue. Now this one is coming off. It's definitely feeling like glue and looking like it's held on with glue. You can kind of use your fingers here to help pry it off. There it is. The genuine BMW emblems are actually solid metal. They've got weight to them. That's nice. The ones that we bought online, they were pretty cheap. I can feel that they're made out of plastic. They're not nearly as high quality as the genuine parts. Of kerosene, we'll get this surface cleaned up. A little bit of rubbing alcohol just to kind of prep the surface whenever we're going to glue that back on. And you want to try to avoid getting that on the paint as much as you can, and it could strip away wax. This new logo is actually too small, and you can see that. So we're going to have to put the old one back on, at least temporarily, and then there's also basically the whole paint just fell off in one sheet. It's quite interesting. Since this paint came off in just one big sheet, we're gonna glue this back. Put a thin coat of epoxy on the front here, so we'll go ahead and mix that up. I'm going to use the nail to apply it, and then to get an even coating, I'm gonna smear it with my finger. Now we'll put the paint in place. Get that lined up. Looking really good. I'm just gonna keep pressure on it for about 5 minutes until it starts to set. For both of these online, now it does say that they're genuine, and I question that. It does have a BMW logo on the back, but they're just like cheap plastic when a genuine logo is really metal. And then this one fit the 82mm fits the front emblem, but the 74mm, it doesn't fit the side. I mean, maybe this is a 74mm, the one that came in the mail, but it doesn't fit. On the side of the car is a 78mm whenever I measure it, as compared to this one, which is a 74. It is a 74. If you measure across it, it's 74mm. Put the original emblem back on. Now, one little thing I wanted to point out was the attention to detail underneath the logo, which is something you almost never would see. BMW put their logo. I think that's just kind of something, the attention to detail is shown there. We're gonna go ahead and put this back on, and the adhesive is still sticky, so that should be okay. In conclusion, these emblems are really not easy to get off, and if you're gonna be buying some for your car, make sure you measure them, make sure they're the right size before you order them, and make sure it'll fit your car. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.